Hey guys, today is spooky day in the Lather games, or summer scents, which are kind of funny because those are kind of diametrically opposed in many respects. I've got all kind of black gear to kind of be a little spooky, and this is just going to be a prime day to bring in a scent from Southern Witchcrafts. And this is Nekromantik, and their scents are rich and complex and unique, wonderful. I like this one a lot, and the performance is very good. This, as you can tell by the label design, is their version 1 of the soap, which is still very good. It got even better with later versions. Another black handled item is the Stirling. This is the Finest Badger, and this is the fan knot. It's the $38 Finest Badger that they have on their site. They have some $50 ones that I guess have a bigger handle and different type of knot, but this is the cheaper of the two. I highly recommend this to new shavers because it's a little bit on the firm side in the sense of backbone, and so it's on the other end of the spectrum from something like a Whip Dog or a Golden Nib Silver Tip, kind of thing. Which has less backbone, more soft, cloudy comfort. This one still has very soft tips. It's somewhat easy to display, and so you could usually tell a person, do you like super soft, or and then they can kind of take their pick which way they'd like to go. The black razor as well to try to keep on theme, and this is my Fatip, and it's got this is the special edition that Connaught did, and it has the gold base plate, and this is the Gentile base plate, not the open comb base plate like the Grande has. This is the Piccolo handle, which is a solid metal handle, brass, and it's very dense. In the pictures, before I ever bought my first of this type of handle, I thought that kind of looks wussy, and I like the thickness of the Grande handle, but the Grande handle's hollow, so while it's thicker, it doesn't have as much gravitas. All right, and for the summer scent, I chose Stubblebuster Game. It's got tangerine and citrus, as well as sequoia and a little bit of touch of sage. I thought that'd be a nice something for the summer. Throw a little bit of water. Nope, let's handle the blade before my hands get wet. The little paper appreciates it if I don't have wet hands. So we are now moving into the last decade before I quit using the Nacet for a while. We got 290 shaves on this blade, so today we'll make it 291. Now, how do you load a Fatip razor for best success? A lot of people say if you just kind of just let it drop in there, and then you just let the base plate kind of drop, and then you snug it up just a little bit, not all the way, and then check it. And that's perfect. There we go. Blade alignment is sometimes an issue with the Fatips, but I find that half or more of the time I don't have to do anything, just like today. All right, now I can get my face wet. Just got done with a long drive, and so we're going to get this shave done and then go to bed. All right, so let's do a 30-second load, kind of my custom when I don't remember or forgot to check the record that I used the soap last. Shake out. This knot holds quite a bit of water. All right. Well, 30 rolled around right there, so we'll start it up. If you want to do a shortcut for your lathers, I shake a lot of the water out of mine. And if you want to keep some water in yours, maybe just give it 2 shakes. With some soaps, that might be all the water you need to whip up a great lather. So there's Definitely some little shortcuts you can take. Rinsing off the side of the tub here. And if you were curious, this is almost a new tub, but it's got lots of room in it. That's because they intentionally give you a larger size tub. Many makers do, so that you have enough room, like you saw me, to load. All right, and that's a good thing. I like it when they do that. I'll try to have the scent notes, in the description as usual. Oh man, this is good. What a good scent! Wow, it's got so many notes in it. I think I remember a Southern Witchcrafts note list being like 13, 12 elements long. It's rich. It's kind of thick smelling, kind of darkish. So let's take my syringe and just start adding some water. This is a vegan soap base, so no tallow. Start with a teaspoon of water here. It looks like it's kind of mixed in reasonably well. We'll put another teaspoon in. I haven't used this soap in a long time. Sometimes you have to watch out for soaps to kind of develop a dry crust on the top. Sometimes you have to load a little bit extra time because of that. Didn't look like that was the case. Yeah, the scent's coming up to my nose. Not every piece of it, but some of the bits. Hey, look, there's some glare on my sweaty head. Yeah. Man, you can tell there's a few florals in there. But then something like rubber or tar. Just a little note, a very pungent note like that. That's really interesting. I like that a lot. Definitely not, the florals definitely don't make it feminine or anything like that. And I bet there's just tons of other notes in here. Fruity, a little bit of fruit, I think. And some warm spices. 3 teaspoons now. And that might put us at a good spot from the way the lather looks right now. I bet this might be a soap that I need to run a little drier than usual, so I may just stick with this. Yeah, look at that, lather looks nice. The other day when I did a blindfolded lather, one of the things I couldn't do, I could only do this mixing motion. And so I couldn't push down on the outside to take it down from the walls. And I think that slowed my production a little bit because I wasn't able to get as good of an agitation with just the stirring. Oh yeah, I definitely have not overwatered this. It's thickening up nicely, really nicely. So, oh, I can feel that slickness in my fingers. Let's put just a half a teaspoon more. I probably need to put a little bit more. So that's 4 then. We'll go with that. Might need to be a little wetter. Stephen Joyner is the guy behind the brush part of Southern Witchcrafts, and it's called Dogwood Handcrafts. Well, I guess Dogwood Handcrafts is probably not under, I think they're just separate. It's not under the Southern Witchcrafts. They're just two separate things. And the Southern Witchcrafts is the soap part of the business, done by Courtney. Great people. Met them both. It's a privilege. And no, they're not. I asked them and they said they were not real witches and they don't practice that sort of thing. Oh man, this lather feels great. It's just kind of a decor and a theme, you know, that they, had some just interest in that kind of thing and went with it for their business. So I definitely don't mind supporting them in that regard. They're just good folks. This is a rich lather. Could definitely use some more water if I wanted to. And I believe that I want to. Probably start flinging lather around here. And there we go. That happened to land right in my hand. See, I play around with different soap bases all the time. And that's why it's nice to have your notes, check them, so that you don't have to do this messy work and you get it nice and wet in the bowl. All right, I think we're good. Man, the lather looks great. It really does. And I have got so much of it. I'm going to put a teaspoon in the bowl. So that is 5.5 teaspoons of water currently in the lather. Just give it a quick mix and then get back to the shaving. I'm also giving my beard some time to soak in the lather to soften up the whiskers. Now, it seems to be a pretty prevailing belief that softening your whiskers is what you want to do. However, I do have a friend who is online and he doesn't believe that. So he doesn't like to soak his whiskers. He believes that if you're trying to cut off a tree that's in your yard, a small sapling, then if it's rigid, then you could kind of break it off when the blade hits it at the root. If it's wet and flexible, then when that blade comes in and hits it, then it's more likely to move instead of break. So that's his theory as to, the scent is all up. Could definitely use this. I think maybe it's definitely a spooky scent, I would say, especially geared for fall. But I could really use it anytime, that's for sure. This is a mild razor, capable with a new blade of giving really, really smooth shaves while still being surprisingly efficient. Yeah, I can smell some of those fruits in there. It's like it's unfolding as we go. I'm picking up different pieces. lots of lather on my face. Feels good. A quick half rinse there. You can see I still have some around. Yeah, this brush is great. It's still got some rigidity in the bristles. It doesn't splay easily, but it does splay. And I bet as I use it more, that'll change over time. Ease into something that's even more of a brush that I like. But the tips are super soft. It is a Finest Badger brush, and most of the time that means the tips have been bleached or treated, because I believe that the Finest, the bristles used in the hairs gathered from the badger are not as nice as like the silver tip hairs. So then to compensate for that, they treat them and bleach them to help them to be softer. And we're just doing another with the grain pass. Since I felt a little bit more stubble than usual, just a gentle, light hold on the razor. And this is a slick soap. It was building up on the razor. You have to be careful in that case with making sure your grip is safe. A little half rinse. Be interesting to see what the surprise challenge is for today. I'm shaving before they announce it, so I'm afraid it won't be a part of this video, but if it's something written, I usually am able to include it in the write-up. Yesterday, they were assuming, because the theme was stuff you get from a pharmacy or grocery store, you know, a soap that you would be able to get there. But I only found maybe 4 people who used Williams, and they were expecting a lot of people to have to use Williams. But so many people use the creams, like the Gillette Pure, Cremo, of course. Now we're doing cross grain here. Now that we're doing kind of what I would normally consider pass number 2. And so if you are interested in knowing more about the big box store, the pharmacy creams that are available, then head on over to day 19, maybe? Day 19 of the Lather Games. Find that SOTD thread on the wet shaving subreddit, and you can see how those perform, because I guarantee you just about everything in your grocery store is probably going to be featured. Very good pass. Nice slickness, residual slickness here. The water just kind of activating the lather that we have in place. I normally might add a little bit more water to this, but I'm tired and sleepy. But it's still very nice, creamy. I mean, this is just an excellent base, and it's a vegan soap. But you know, I just care about performance and luxury and comfort. If it's a vegan or tallow, you know, whichever one delivers, it's fine with me. And this is something that I really enjoy from Southern Witchcrafts, is the scent strength is like a 6, and it's rare. 6 or 7 maybe for some of you guys. Might consider it a 7. And that is rare in this soap making world. Usually people are maybe at about a 4, sometimes a 3 even. So we're going to do cross grain again. I don't go against the grain. I get a great shave without doing it. And on my neck, it often will give me irritation, cuts, things like that. This handle is getting slippery if I allow too much lather to build up. Now this mild head, I've used it to easily take down, like a 3-day shave. Nice thick long beard hairs. It just doesn't have a problem. I think the Fatip razors are some of the best bang for your buck, some of the best buys in the shaving world. Because these, the Mercurs and the Jaggers and the Parkers and the Muleys they're all plated like this guy is, but with chrome usually. But inside it's Zamac, it's pot metal. And that will corrode and die and break eventually. This inside is brass. Lots of slickness on my face. Man, this is a good soap. I could probably get away with maybe 20-second load next time because I have plenty left over. Probably another, I bet I could do 3 passes out of that because you don't need thick passes, especially with this. This is a rich lather. It's wonderful, creamy. Let's take a little feel of it here. Pull it out of the brush. Get what's in the, just in general, when you're just kind of moving around like this, just a luxurious feel. Wet and hydrated, but not too wet really. And then when you're thinking about the contact, very slippery, a thin soapy kind of slickness, but a creaminess as well, because this is a little drier than I might like, but it's a very luxurious feel right now at this hydration level. But the slickness that I'm able to feel as I'm contacting my fingers and stuff is just amazing. Just easily moving around. Very nice. And that scent. I think there's some apples in there maybe. I think I picked out some apples, but it's all, you might pick out notes here and there, but to me, it's they're all joined together, and you get them in your nose, and it's mysterious. It's wonderful. And then every once in a while, a little nuance will come out and say, hey, there's a little bit of floral something in there, or a little bit of fruity. Man, that was nice. All right, I'm going to pause you while I get a better rinse. Well, I'm traveling, and so I didn't really have a chance to kind of grab the gear that I wanted. But I believe I brought a pretty nice little spooky-oriented array of equipment. I might have chosen the open comb base plate here. Instead, this is the Gentile. And it was more mild than it's supposed to be. And so I do have some good many hairs there that still, they got trimmed, but they are showing just a little bit more length than I might want. As far as the ratios and everything, we did do the 30-second load and 5.5 teaspoons of water. And I'm just going to put my blade down here on the washcloth and just tap it gently and grab the game, and let's see how this does. The Stubble Buster soaps that are made by Grumatorium are very lightly scented, so as not to bother people's allergies or sensitive skin, that kind of thing. but the splashes are much nicer. I'm getting some pretty good stinging right around here. So my technique must have been just a little bit lacking right there. Maybe going too fast. Who knows? The lather sure was up to par. So it's probably my fault with the razor. This is also a little bit mentholated, but I usually find that it bothers my eyes for a little bit and then it's gone and I'm able to enjoy the scent. It does have some cooling properties to it. Yeah, I definitely feel a burn. Not of the alcohol anymore, but the menthol. I often perceive the menthol effect instead of a cooling as a burning sensation, and I'm not a fan of that. All right, well, I'm going to clean my gear up, and we'll be back. All right, always remember with your brushes, they are damp still, even when you strap them on a towel like I do. I sling them out in the sink to get the heavy water out. Then I strap them on a towel to get really the standing water out. So then it's just gently moist after that. At that point, it doesn't matter whether you hang it upside down or whether you sit him on his base. He'll dry just as fast either way. But what does matter is that you don't put him inside of a confined space like a medicine cabinet. You got to keep him out, let him breathe. Okay. Now, if you're traveling and you can't help it, I have some tubes that I take my brush and I put them in if I have to go. And so I'll wad up some toilet paper and put it on the end of the tube. That still doesn't completely help it to dry, but at least it helps a little bit. So the next day, whenever I get to the location, I can then take those tubes out and expose the brushes and let them finish drying. That's important because you don't want mildew to grow inside the knot because that'll cause hairs to break. Of course, mold and stuff to develop, in which we don't want that either, obviously. All right, my friends, we have started the last group of 10 on this little tab here, and this is 291. How about that? I'm sure the Nacet will keep going after we reach 300, but I'm going to take a break, use some other razors, some other blades for a while. I have not with the Nacet, and I was asked this recently on a video comment. How aren't you tired of the Nacet? Sometimes I do get tired of it. Like back when it was like use number 180, and I would do it in groups of 10. And so I'd do a burst of 10, and then I'd go back to other stuff. And yeah, I would kind of get tired of it sometimes. But right now, ever since I started, 20 shaves ago, it has been enjoyable and exciting each time because I'm getting so close to such a big number, 300. All right. Oh, and here's my blade, and here's the little 3 dots to show you that it was the same one I've always been using. Tap it dry here. Not wiping at all. I'm not stropping it. One of the things I'm going to try is to take another Nacet blade and start it on a marathon, but it will be a blade that I strop, maybe on a denim an old pair of jeans or something. And what that means is we'll pretend that this razor has the blade in it, because you do need to strop it. Some people do a skin strop where they'll push it like that on their skin. But maybe I'd hold a pair of jeans up on a flat surface and then just how many times? I don't know, maybe 5 times each side. But then that would allegedly smooth out the blade. Now, I've proven I can go a very long time with no stropping, no treatment, nothing. So I'm really curious if I do strop that way, if I end up with significantly less shaves, or if that helps me to have smoother shaves for a long time. Be interesting to see. My guess is it might be. You'd have to be very careful doing it because too much pressure and you end up messing with your blade, and then, all right. I really think the game has got some interesting common elements. they're working really well with the Nekromantik. You know, I've got the game right around my face right now. They're not clashing at all. The game doesn't have any fruity, well, except for the tangerine, I guess. But this is more of a appley, you know, type of fruit. And so that's coming out more. The spices and the warmth are not as evident now because the game is around me. So these work together really well. That's very cool. So that was a good choice. That worked out well with the game as the aftershave. The menthol burn has stopped, and so now I'm able to really enjoy the aftershave. All right, well, that was terrific. Yeah, sure. It wasn't super close. It wasn't an amazing close shave, but it was comfortable. Not barely any tugging on the first pass. This is a mild razor, so not really surprised there. The Nekromantik, such a wonderful scent. I think you got that feeling from my reaction, right? The tips on that brush, it does splay, and but not super easy. But the advantage there is that it's keeping those tips at your face. And so the lather felt luxurious due to the brush, also due to itself, its own chemistry. So just a wonderful bit, a little drier than I might like, but creamy and luxurious for sure. Very cool. That is it. So Southern Witchcrafts, thank you guys for all you do. I love the creativity and the types of scents that they create. There's only a few that I've smelled that just weren't my thing, but I can still appreciate the artistry and the creativity that was put in them. And it's unique, and it's in a different, weird place in the scent world, and they're bringing different pieces in to construct their scents than what a lot of the people are using, and they work so well together. I'm really glad that they are a part of our shaving world, because nobody really is coming close to their stuff. And the performance is great. This is their first base, and it is wonderful. And so the second one is even better. My face also felt kind of a decent amount of post-shave care after I rinsed everything. I rinsed the lather off. So that's probably a good thing as well for some of you, especially folks with dry skin. All right, I think we're good. Time to go to sleep. Sure hope there's been something in this video that's good for you. We are marching on. 9 more uses until we hit 300. It's very cool. I wish you guys all the best. Keep yourself safe as far as COVID goes. In my work, they just announced that in the common areas, face masks are going to be required. While you're sitting at your own desk, you don't have to have one. So that's a little bit of a change, even though some of the restaurants are starting to open up their lobbies, as long as people are spaced out. You know, some of the local fast food joints are able to do that. So some things are opening up, but some restrictions like the face masks and things are coming into play as well. I think they're just trying to make sure it doesn't bounce back hard, you know. All right, guys, take care of yourselves, your family, your friends, and this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.